So then we started out with the tag team match. And it was a bright day in New Jersey. It doesn't have the nice ambiance till it gets dark up there. But by the time that Jey Uso yeeted through the entire stadium and got to ringside, and thank God he must have felt like, because thank God Roman was next, because he got like 5 more minutes to breathe, Jey. And Roman was in about 5 minutes later, and then here came the Brons, Reed and Breaker, and they rang the bell for the first match. It was 20 minutes into the show, but again, I think they started off with probably definitely the future of the company and probably the best athletic display, and they kind of tapered down from there over the course of the weekend. But I love Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker as a tag team with Paul Heyman. And whether or not Seth Rollins, we'll get to that, whether or not Seth Rollins was involved in the group, that strengthens it. But if you made Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed the tag team champions and make them a regular tag team while Seth Rollins is in a group as the world champion, and then later on, there can be tension because they've clearly, well, first, with the tag team champions, then they could just mow down all of the other tag teams that were in that stupid ladder match on the roster because they've made all of them equal and meaningless on the mid card. Just beat them all. And then top guys would have to start teaming up to try to face and conquer Reed and Breakker. And then that might even be something that renovated the Usos for a short run to help Jimmy out a little bit, if nothing else. There's my yard mowers. But then you'd have a set of tag team champions that meant something, and you'd have some action in the tag team division that you could put at the top of the cards. And at the same time, then, because they've clearly placed Bron Breakker ahead of Bronson Reed in the pecking order, because they know he is the future star and he can talk and blah, 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 then eventually you could have issues between Bron Breakker and Seth Rollins over who is the dominant guy in the group, much less tag team or single or whatever. And then you could do whatever you wanted out of that. Do you see where I'm going with this, Brian? I like the idea that they could do something to elevate these guys and put them in this group and elevate the tag team title at the same time. And, with tag teams like Roman Reigns and fucking Jey Uso, then as baby faces to challenge them or the Usos or whatever, you might start making people think the tag team belts are important again.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'll just say it here. I'm kind of not enthused about more Rollins. I was really looking forward to him being out for a long time with a knee injury. Even after we started thinking it could be a work, I was like, no, I really just want him off Raw for an extended period of time.
I had really sold myself on liking the idea that Paul gave the case to Bron Breakker.
It would have been better. Hey, yeah, listen, if night one ended with Bron Breakker coming out there to cash in, I would have been happier. I know people were happy because the heel whose song they like to sing won. But I think I was really looking forward to it.
Goddamn, in that case, Elton John could have been a hell of a wrestler. But anyway, this tag team match, I'm not going to go blow by blow. But they all four know what they're doing to some extent. Jey, again, the timing issues and the whole thing, but they're over. Bron Breakker is the future of the business. Again, they set up at one point, what I thought was going to be the hottest hot tag that I'd seen in a while in this whole company. Jey was about to make it to Roman and the heels with perfect timing. Right as Jey dove, they jerked Roman off the apron of the ring so that Jey missed. So it was a great hot tag attempt and a great foil. But then when Jey turned around and a minute later DDT'd Bronson Reed and Roman got back up to the apron and they just did simultaneous tags. It was a big pop for Roman anyway because they wanted to see him come in. But they made the perfect hot tag just seconds earlier, except they didn't actually make it. It was a false hot tag. And then the real hot tag was simultaneous. There you go. I was like, fuck. But nevertheless, the same shit. The pattern starts where there's the big dives. And Roman hit a big dive where he actually went over both of the heels almost. It took a giant backdrop to the floor. And it got back up. And they teased Bron Breakker and Roman Reigns, which everybody wants to see at some point. But then they would get, broken off into some other combination. But there is some more dives where Bronson Reed, I think it was, dove on both of the baby faces and went right through them face first. But thankfully he was okay. And the Bron Breakker brought out the old Steiner Bulldog. They gave it to Uso. But it just...
What'd you think of the Roman dive where he cleared both Bron and Bronson? And
well, yeah, no, that's the one where he took that big... It looked like he took a giant backdrop, just a big double backdrop over to the floor. But that's the thing is that they're all doing these fucking things and they've set in a pattern that nothing can stop anybody. And I liked Bron Breakker. He had taken the straps down once to fucking, go crazy. And then he got mad and he put them back up to take them back down again. I mean, this kid is going to make tens of millions of dollars. It's insane. I haven't seen anybody this good in fucking 20 years. But nevertheless, after all of that, they almost kill each other and they fucking, the finishes over and over. Then Uso hit Reed with a super kick and splashed him 1, 2, 3. So I wrote at the bottom, a pleasure to watch Bron Breakker, so good, so young. Rest of it, too many stunts and a little long, over 20 minutes. I forgot about the spear through the barrier. They did that. Remember when you had never seen anybody get speared through the barrier? Oh shit, look at that.
It's every week.
And now it's the same place every time too. And they think I know when people go to see the fucking Rolling Stones in concert, they want to hear Jumpin' Jack Flash, but how can the most shocking thing that's ever happened happen at every show? But nevertheless, I'm being nitpicky already. Brian, your thoughts while I regain my composure.
I thought it was okay. It was the opening match. They wanted to get people going. Bron Breakker, I agree, he's so impressive. Jey Uso was really pissing me off. He was just calling spots. He was just talking to the person while throwing punches. Just standing there talking. It's a problem show-wide. Cena's always been bad. I even saw Gunther do it. Is it that guys are sloppier now or lazier now or just don't protect it now? Or is it that everything being in HD and mic'd so well, even though it's more visual than audio, that we see it more than ever before?
A combination of all those things. Because you definitely, that's one thing. When we got to World Class, me and the Midnight Express in Dallas in 85, the guys that told us they've got microphones on the ring posts. And that was one good thing about working with the Fantastics every night for 6 months. We may not have gotten matches with the Von Erichs where the big money was, but we'd have to talk to Bobby and Tommy. They didn't call shit. We knew it already. We just did it every night, right? But that was an anomaly at the time where you didn't have microphones and especially like they do now, all around the ring, on the posts and other blah, blah, blah. So part of it is that, yes, you can hear more of it now, but still the visually HD has a little bit to do with it, but when they've had great camera work for 25, 30 years, whatever, and guys have gotten, I think, more in the habit of it just being accepted or something they have to do because they're having to go from one pre-planned thing to another. 30 years ago, you could have seen some guys calling spots, but they weren't calling that many spots because there's a difference between calling spots and reminding someone what they have to do next and shit. We don't have time to sit here in this chin lock and hide it. We're rushing now. So 30 years ago, the guys were actually calling logical, simple shit for the most part that they could hide and that there wasn't pressure on them to do this ridiculous and who's going to be in the right place and there's 15 people need to catch me or is the furniture here or whatever. So that's causing guys, I think, to have to talk more. You can hear it better, you can see it better, and guys are honestly just looser about it and not as concerned about it as we would have been back in the day when you'd have got fired for it. Does that make any sense?
It does.
Well, and it made more sense than the rest of this show. Now,